Here we have our Korbanth DM1 fully installed. This is a double-bladed or a two-hilt staff, double staff. Blade plug. On the top of each half is your activation and auxiliary buttons. Red is activation, silver is auxiliary. These are screwed into the chassis. This little one is screwed into the chassis, and this is your twistable blade plug, which is removable, but you can just twist with an Allen key. You can just twist it to turn it on or off. These are buttons, but they're not functional buttons. They're just glued in place. And then just the opposite here, right? These again are buttons, not functional though. And then as we move to the top of this part, auxiliary, activation. And then we don't have a blade plug in there yet. So let's ignite.
We will have revenge.
And it has your standard flash on flash. Your auxiliary can do blaster block, saber lock. You can do force push if you get it right. I'm never very good at it. There you go. Hold the auxiliary and swing at the same time.
At last we will have revenge.
Right, just hold activation down, starts it, hold it down again, we'll shut it off. And then hold auxiliary.
If the trace was correct, I will find them quickly, Master.
And you can cycle through the sound banks.
Ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge. If the trace was correct, I will find them quickly, Master.
So let me separate. Right, so it's just a twisting motion. You can separate them. So this is the vented coupler that allows sound to come through. And these are just spacers. Unfortunately, you need the spacers so that, you know, one on each side of the coupler, so that it aligns properly, because you want the buttons to be aligned. Here are the pommel end caps, also vented. Nice and loud. Should be a 24 millimeter bass speaker. So nice and loud. And we got this one here as well. And that'll be a lot better once that blade plug arrives. But those are your 2 halves. Now Korbanth only gives you one of these for a belt clip. I guess they assume you're gonna put a double staff on your belt clip. But we could always get one. They do give you a screw, so you could always put a set screw in there to conceal the hole. Or we could, or you could put another one in there. We can buy from the custom saber shop. Just buy another one of these and screw it right on. And that's nice too, because it holds, the saber when you lay it down flat. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have it, so it tends to roll. All right, so last thing, let me just show you how to take the chassis out. It is a removable chassis, no crystal reveal. Unfortunately, haven't found a good chassis that has a crystal reveal. This also holds the chassis in. No, I'm lying. No, I think I'm not lying. Well, instead of taking that one out, I'll take this one out. One less screw to take out. I do believe that screw holds it in. So a couple of things you want to do. Again, this is the twistable kill key, right? So that will shut it off, and then you can just twist it till you hear it turn on.
If the trace was correct, I will find them quickly, Master.
No, it's in there. It's not coming out. And you just got to get your thumb.
Yes, my master.
Under there. So take that out. Don't lose that. That I had to fabricate. Okay, so now that that's out, we'll take the big screw out on this end. Don't lose those. And then a smaller Allen. So those screws are holding the chassis in. What I like to do is also take off the emitter. And this way we can just push that out right from the top. There is a shield, right, or a lens on, covering the TRI-CREE. So you can use your thumb and just a little bit of pressure to push that out. Now you don't have to remove it. You can access the recharge port just by taking the kill key out and just charge it while it's in Hilt. But that's your Hilt. I'm sorry, that's your chassis. You have access to your sound card. Everything's wired under the board, so nice and clean. A little Death Star photo there. These are for the activation switches, right? There's contacts. I don't know if we can see in there, but you can, on the left side, you can see your activation switch, which has some solder points that connect or contact here. Right, and these are the screw holes when you put them back in. So when you want to put the chassis back in, the fatter part is the top. You can also see the larger hole so that you can fit the recharge plug in there. So you just want to align, you know, this channel in the chassis. You'll align with the buttons. Okay, and then just get it started. Now what I like to do, you could use this to give it a little bit of a push, because the speaker's there, right? You don't want to push with your thumb. So one approach is to use the pommel to kind of push it in a little bit. And that should get you most of the way, right? If you look. And then the other thing I like to do, and I'll give you these. But the saber, you know, the saber come from Korbanth with these black metal parts, which you could use to complete this saber. Instead of a chassis, you have these things. But we don't use them since we're using a custom chassis, but you can use it to push the chassis in. And then you can see, just line up the recharge port hole, and then you're back in. And then you put your screws back in. Alright, so, and like I said, I'm still waiting on one blade plug. I would hope it would come on time. If not, I can just ship it. But I'll show you on the other saber that has the blade plug. I will tap the emitter. Okay. So here, if you take the top of the emitter off, I tap these screws, this thread, and that will allow access to the set screw for the blade plug. So I'll do that before. Okay. I think I have a blade. It's a little light in the room, so we can turn the light off though. And I don't have the set screw to hold it in. We'll cap it. I'll hit the lights and we'll see how. Twist.
If the trace was correct, I will find them quickly, Master.
Nice and bright. some light back on in the room. Okay. And I'll show you the set screws in case you want to take the blade plug out. Put a blade in there. Well, there's your set screw right there. Should be the same sized. Yep, Allen. And just to keep this centered, the blade plug, so that when the emitter cap is on, you get a nice even emittance of light. Maybe that's the word. You can see the light shines through pretty evenly. So to accomplish that, I also have a hole in the blade plug. So when you put this in, you want the set screw to go through the hole in the blade plug just enough so that it's snug and even around. And that'll give you nice shine through on the blade plug. Otherwise, if you don't put the hole in, the set screw will just push the blade plug to the other side of the chassis, and then you get a lot of light here and no light there. And, well, I tend to keep the emitter, if I have it in the staff mode, I tend to keep the emitter, the pommel caps in these bags. And then we'll show putting this back on. Okay, just twist enough to get them on. Take that blade out. And that's it. Any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching.